IT Now.
On the 15th of August, 64 years ago, India won her independence. But in many ways, it really was in 1991 that we won our financial independence during the budget. Well, you have to say, ever since, the economy has grown tremendously, but without a doubt, credit goes to a certain section of society that really reached out to those who need the most help. So much so that now economic growth and social impact can be said in the same breath. Hello and welcome to Starting Up. In the next half hour, we dedicate ourselves to the social enterprise space, the startups, initiatives and ventures that have been doing some of the best work in the country. Here's what's coming your way over the next half hour.
On the show this week, one of the largest brands in the social enterprise space, we meet social venture capital fund Acumen. Is there an alternative to microfinance when it comes to micro-lending? We explore the community lending model. And finally, the big opportunity in the handicraft space, we meet an array of startups trying to cash in on the sector.
Innovation, they say, is truly impactful when it reaches out to the masses. An incubator is actually mentoring and working with some of the most innovative social startups in the country. It's called Wilgrow and it's based out of Chennai. Well, their core focus really is to make innovative companies investable ones as well. Dhwani Desai goes back in time and gets us Wilgrow's story.
In spite of a rich culture, diversity and an excellent pool of resources, India still faces problems that have existed for an eternity. Poor education, limited access to quality healthcare, power, water and sanitation are some of the issues which rural India are still dealing with. Someone who had been thinking about it is Paul Basil, an engineering student then, who wanted to create an impact not just by doing something charitable, but by bringing out the potential within the Indian entrepreneur to innovate and use that innovation to create social impact.
What do? We identify businesses which create a rural impact, scenarios where the company has the product ready, it wants to test the product in the field, it wants to get customer feedback, then launch the product in the market. That's the stage where we normally come in.
Wilgrow, founded 10 years ago, is a non-profit company that sources capital through grants. However, Wilgrow's objective is to make the incubating companies not only self-sustainable but also investable, which it did for Serval's Automation, a company that has designed a scientific solution to beat the increasing price of kerosene used for cooking in rural India.
The Serval's Automation birth is mainly because of the Wilgrow concept of identifying rural innovators, and their help has been essentially putting us with networking with various people. For example, the first tranche of social funding came from Avishkar Micro Venture Capital. It is mainly because of the contact we have with Wilgrow.
Serval has designed stoves which utilize 30% less kerosene and stoves that use renewable energy like vegetable oil and biomass. Marketed today both within and outside the country, Serval's today sells 1.3 lakh burners per month, a figure they see reaching up to 2 lakh burners by the end of the year. Apart from making the company investable and facilitating networks, Wilgrow also provides seed capital of 25 lakh rupees, which they take back from the company without interest once they've turned profitable. Although Wilgrow focuses mainly in sectors like agribusiness and energy, they're open to periphery sectors and have invested in companies such as SkyMed, the only non-government company in India which makes weather forecasts.
We are sucking data from all over the world, combining it, running programs, generating forecasts, correcting those forecasts statistically, And then we have our own team of very talented and experienced meteorologists who edit all the data before it actually goes out to the user.
Apart from investing in SkyMet at an early stage, Wilgrow has used its large network to help SkyMet scale. Their portfolio today stands at 12 companies, out of which 2 are profitable and 4 have operationally broken even. Their biggest challenge has been in marketing and distributing the products at village level, which they've overcome by launching Wilgrow Marketing, a chain of stores and a network of village-level entrepreneurs selling innovative products and services which aren't necessarily made by Wilgrow's incubatees. In addition to this, Wilgrow is also trying to spur the innovation drive across campuses. The pace of growth of their incubatees hasn't been rapid so far, but they believe it's not the pace of growth which counts, but the long-term viability. Innovation is the key, and with a larger team, a larger corpus of funds and more initiatives, they're certain that through their efforts, enterprises serving rural India will grow.
In the next 1 year, Wilgrow hopes to be completely self-sustainable. Okay, let's move on then and talk about the biggest player in the social enterprise space, and it would have to be the Acumen Fund. It's an international fund that's dedicated really to the development of the social sector. They entered India 6 years ago and today have investments in 13 companies across multiple sectors. Here's their story.
Drinking water, something most of us here in urban India take for granted. Compare this to rural India though, where people might gain access to drinking water only once in 5 days. Even then, often they have to cross miles just to get their share of 2 buckets. An organization that has been following this space quite keenly is the Acumen Fund, a philanthropic fund which is using an entrepreneurial approach to solve the problems of global poverty. Founded by Jacqueline Novogratz in the year 2001, the fund has invested $60 million globally, 25 of which have been approximately invested in India.
In 2001, with a small group of people, created Acumen Fund with this idea that you could take philanthropic money, philanthropic capital, charity, and rather than give it away as handouts, invest in those entrepreneurs who refuse to see the poor as passive recipients waiting for charity, and instead to invest in innovation that were bringing basic services like water, healthcare, housing, energy, agricultural inputs.
Headed by Meghna Rao in India, Acumen's role has been to look for companies which have a powerful social impact. The social impact is key, but they firmly believe that this cannot be achieved unless the company itself is profitable, viable and sustainable.
We look for financial viability because we take a venture capital approach. So like a venture capital firm, we have a deep due diligence process, and then we do place equity or debt into the company, and ultimately we would look to exit very much the way a venture capital company would. And our end objective is not to maximize financial returns, but to recycle our capital back out into the market to increase our scale of impact.
All of Acumen's funds are raised through grants with their key investors including the Rockefeller Foundation and Cisco Systems. Apart from investing up to 49% in companies, Acumen also provides management assistance, talent and most importantly a global network for the companies. One of their portfolio companies which certainly benefited from this is Cikitsa Healthcare.
Do you require a doctor in the ambulance? You just need a basic ambulance. May I know the condition of the patient?
201. Detail dijiye, sir.
An emergency ambulance company under the brand 1298, which was founded by Shweta Mangal with the objective of making ambulances accessible to the less fortunate.
we were very clear that this service has to be both for the people who can afford to pay and people who cannot afford to pay. And so we finally decided the way this model will work is that we will charge people based on their destination. So, and the destination in this case could be only two. If they're going to a private hospital, we will charge them. And if they're going to the government hospital, we will give the service up to 50% off.
From just 10 ambulances in 2005, today they have 566 ambulances spread across 6 regions within India, and each of them having a doctor or a fully trained male nurse, a helper and a driver. Water Health International is another company that has been funded with 9 crore rupees by Acumen. A community water purification system, WHI provides quality drinking water through its turnkey solutions and plants that are set up in partnership with the government or the panchayat within catchment areas. Their ability to minimize cost is by using customized technologies across different areas.
For our kind of business, we use ultrafiltration, we use UVW radiation, and we also use RO. We are a company which is not wedded to any one technology. We use the technology depending on its suitability and requirement for remediation of the contamination.
Apart from water and healthcare, Acumen also looks at sectors like agriculture, energy and housing. Out of their current portfolio of 14 companies within the country, half of them are profitable and the remaining are still to break even. So does the venture capital backed model really work for social enterprises? To find an answer to this question, I met with Vineet Rai, the founder of both Avishkar and Intellicap, two of the largest entities in the social enterprise space in the country.
Is social entrepreneurship really thriving in India? The answer is yes. But has it really arrived? The answer in my view is no. There's long distance to go for it to arrive.
Has the view of the venture capital industry really changed towards the social sector?
Microfinance demonstrated a social business like microfinance can become very large and therefore can become profitable, and very profitable at that. I think what microfinance has demonstrated, it is very difficult to quantify the risk that is associated with social sector. And I think that's where the major departure happens between a social sector and a mainstream. So are the VCs excited? I think a lot of VCs are excited, but after what has happened lately in one of the sectors where some of them have massively invested, I think VCs are far more skeptical than they were actually earlier.
Acumen so far has stayed clear of the microfinance space in India, instead focusing primarily on healthcare and energy.
These are in India, Pakistan and East Africa.
Their real goal to show the community that the right way to scale social enterprises is not by maintaining a social approach, but one that embraces profit.
If you'd like to get in touch with the fund, you can visit their website. Let's take a quick breather here on the show then, but coming up.
We meet Rangde and Malap, the two community lending startups reaching out to those below the poverty line.
This show brought to you by Reliance 3G. Switch to Reliance for the fastest 3G experience.
Monday to Friday, the market swings both ways. It's time to change the ways to invest.
ET Now presents Your Trades the Week Ahead.
A zesty new show that helps you spice up your portfolio.
With all our new recipes for success.
Market fundamentals, chopped, skinned and well done.
So, put your money where your mouth is.
Book your weekend slots with ET Now and taste the spirit of success.
As the markets recover, which expert will lead the way in choosing the best performing stocks? Our guests on BNSN The Stock Game this week are Sudarshan Sukhani, Sandeep Bagle and Lancelot Tikuna. Follow the exciting game of portfolio building on BNSN The Stock Game, only on ET Now.
With global markets facing chilly headwinds, could panic grip global equities? Can the sovereign debt in Europe be easily resolved? Or is this the beginning of the bear market? Get answers from men who manage funds worth $20 billion. Watch Market Makers Singapore special.
ET Now's special focus on commodities gets you the most accurate commodity and currency trade analysis. With trading and hedging strategies to give your portfolio that extra bounce. Get up-to-date information on price movements, policy announcements, and experts who can predict trends and make the right call. With me, Manisha Gupta, only on ET Now.